If you want some tips for drawing digitally, this video is for you. Are you curious about doing digital art? Do you want to get into digital drawing but don't know where to start? Perfect! In this video, I'm gonna show you different options that you can use for getting started with drawing digitally. And hey, spoiler alert, I use an iPad. And I'm gonna share with you my tips and tricks for getting started with the iPad and Procreate. But stay with me until the end because I'm also gonna show you the options for using programs on the Android phone, and some of them are very low cost and some of them are actually free. I'm Tatiana Denis. I'm here to teach you how to draw using the cute and simple style called Kawaii, and how to start a creative business using your newfound skills. So if you ever wanted to create products with your cute designs, maybe you draw with kids, or you just want to get really good at this art form, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of all the new videos I create. Okay, let me tell you how I got into digital drawing. So back in the day, before the iPad and Apple Pencil, I had a Wacom tablet. When I was in graphic design school, I learned how to use that. Instead of a mouse, you use a tablet to navigate the programs. So that wasn't a problem for me. But somehow drawing digitally just didn't work for me personally at that time. It was really strange to be drawing down here and then the picture shows up here on the screen. Like, to be fair, I didn't practice a lot. I tried it a few times. I didn't really like the experience, so I left it there. Now, fast forward a few years, I'm doing art, I'm starting to get commissions, and every client that I work with asks for either vector illustrations or high-resolution digital files. They want that polished look to their Kawaii art. So I said, okay, I've got to crack this. And was the time when the iPad came out and the Apple Pencil. So I saved up some money and I decided to give it a real go. And that combination has literally changed digital art for me. So let me share with you 3 tips that I have if you ever considered getting an iPad and an Apple Pencil. And this is not sponsored video, no affiliation at this time. If there was, I would let you know. But I have to tell you that for me, that's the combination that finally worked. So in order to make it a little bit easier on yourself, here is what I recommend. First, my iPad has this protector on the screen called PaperLike. I'll put the link in the description below. It's a little bit rough. It creates a surface that produces a resistance for the Apple Pencil as I draw, and I find that it helps me feel more natural when I'm drawing. I come from a traditional art background, so I've done all of my studying using pencil and paper, but this combination had finally made it work for me. The second tip I have is to get a glove for protecting your hands so that you don't accidentally trigger gestures while you're drawing. So let's say I'm drawing on the iPad, like if I just place my hand on the screen or if I tap something, I can trigger, in Procreate there's gestures, so I can trigger certain gestures like undo or erase without actually meaning to do that. And it's a known thing, so hey, this company, Huion, possibly, has created a glove to solve exactly that, and I'll drop the link for that in the description below. In fact, for all the gear, I'll put the links in the description below. So if you have this glove, it can go on your right hand or on your left hand. You hold the pencil, you can draw very, very comfortably, and you don't have to worry whether you are going to trigger any unwanted gestures. And the third element of what worked for me was getting Procreate app. It's not very expensive, it's a one-time payment, it's not a subscription, and I find it incredibly intuitive for drawing by hand. So this is different to using vectors in your drawing, but if you're wanting to draw by hand and simulate the experience of using pencil and paper, this combination works the best for me. So let me quickly summarize. Number 1 is getting PaperLike screen protector. Number 2 is getting the glove. And number 3 is using Procreate app. So that's if you want to invest a lot of money and you're ready to really seriously go into digital art. This is not for a beginner. So let me share with you what you can use for free or almost free, and you don't need to have an iPad or Mac OS. You can do it on an Android. Do you draw on an iPad? Or have you considered getting an iPad? And was this helpful for you? Let me know in the comments. So, if you don't have an iPad and you have an Android device, I will recommend to you 3 options. Again, I guess I like 3s. So, 3 options. Number 1 is Inkscape. That's a open source software, which means it is community supported. There is a free version, and if you really like it, you can donate to the creators on their website. Number 2 is ArtFlow. Now, I personally have not used Inkscape or ArtFlow myself, but I hear really good things about it in our Facebook community. Anytime someone says, hey, I need a low cost or free, really good program for Android, these are the 2 that come up over and over again. Inkscape and ArtFlow. So ArtFlow is a privately developed program, but it does have a free version and it has a low cost upgrade if you want it. And the program itself, like I said, I haven't used it, but this is what my students tell me. It does for a fact has all of your essential features like layer filters, like clipping masks. It has pressure sensitivity, so if you press harder with your stylus, it creates a thicker line. So that's a really good option for drawing digitally. And finally, I have one more recommendation, that's Affinity Designer. Now, I do use this program. It can go on an iPad, on an Android device, it can go on mobile, it can go on desktop, and it is still very well priced. Now, I don't remember exactly the prices, and they do keep changing. For the iPad, I paid under $50, and for the desktop, don't quote me on this, but it's maybe $150. So it's not a huge commitment. Like if you buy Adobe Suite, you have to pay a monthly fee. This is a one-time fee. And the difference about Affinity Designer is that you use vectors. So Procreate that I shared with you earlier is about drawing by hand, just like you would on paper. It's called a raster image. Vectors is where you can scale the drawing to any size and it still maintains its quality. And a lot of clients do ask for that. So when I want to create vector artwork quickly and on my iPad using my Apple Pencil, I jump into Affinity Designer. Getting into digital art has never been easier in my opinion. There's so many cool tools and programs available right now. And that's a really good thing. Here is why. In my 10 years of drawing professionally, every single client that I've had has asked for digital art. Whenever I get a commission for 12 characters or a full page illustration, I actually propose to them, hey, let me do watercolor. If you've been following me, you know I love watercolor. And they always say, yes, that's nice, but we want it to have a polished quality. And I kind of agree. Like if I have a t-shirt and I have a character on a t-shirt, I love Doki Doki brand. They are very, very stylized and very smooth and polished. And I can see that digital art and vector art is very well suited for this type of character design. Now, I have done things like paint and watercolor, then scan and digitally remaster the drawing, then upload to a print-on-demand website and sell a product. And that works. I've also done framed art that's for sale, but I haven't ever so far had a client who wanted me to draw something by hand and then scan it in and give it to them. Can it happen? Yeah, of course. Right now, in my understanding, where the industry is digital art, and I will teach you to do that. So if you want to get into drawing professionally and get commissions, then I really encourage you to give digital art a go. And you know, it's easier than you would think. I would say, even in some ways, it's easier than drawing by hand, because remember, you always have that undo button. If you enjoyed this video and some of these tips are useful to you, then be sure to like this video and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this one. Stay creative, my Kawaiian friend, and I will see you in the next video.